Sooner Scoop HD.
All right, good afternoon. Good to see everybody. Is that good up there? All right. Had a good practice last night, and looking forward to going on the road to TCU. Got a chance to play a really good TCU team who's had a great start to their season. Is one of the top offenses in the country. Got the quarterback leads the nation in passing efficiencies at 77%. Completion percentage, 8 touchdowns, no interceptions. Max Dugan's really playing well. Got a great offense up to this point in time in the season. They've done incredibly well. Second in the country in yards per play at 8.1 yards a play, and a bunch of seniors and juniors on their offense. They've done a great job at systematically putting them in position to be successful. Defense improved from what they've been, and have a coach coordinating their defense that had incredible success at Tulsa systematically as well. Got excellent players. Again, on both sides of the ball, terrific skill. As good as skills we'll see, certainly better than what we've seen up to this point in time at receiver. And so got a great challenge for us. Our guys are anxious and eager to improve and get better, and show that last week wasn't really reflective and indicative of the type of performance that we're capable of. But at the end of the day, we've got to dust ourselves off, like I said before, and we got to be more precise in everything that we do. And to me, everything starts with discipline, and discipline to have the mindset of, doing all the little things that it takes, over and over and over and over and over until you can't get it wrong, And that's got to be, again, a daily commitment to doing that. It starts with certainly how you meet. It starts with how you stretch. It starts with how you go to individual. How do you go to inside drill, one-on-ones, and mastering your craft takes a lot of work and a lot of struggle, a lot of perseverance, and we got to trust and have a respect for, again, what it takes to play at a really high level. I said this before as well, that pressure, exposes both the good and the bad. And we got to foundationally rely on, how we do what we do, and again, the discipline that it takes to play at a high level. If that's discipline not to have a procedural issue, or a discipline to take the right angles to the football so we don't have a face mask, or the discipline to execute a screen and go so we're not running into receivers. All of those things lie at my feet, and certainly us as coaches, and then the players have to take ownership and accountability. I like the attitude, how our guys responded yesterday, the toughness after, again, having a bad night, and that's what I told them is, it certainly was a bad night, and for all of us, but doesn't mean you have to have a bad year and a bad season. So with that, I'll take questions.
Start with Brian Aber.
Yeah, Brent, how obviously you've dealt with losses before in your career, but how different has this been doing it as the head coach, and the response when you're the guy up front in the room after the game, and then directing things, especially the 48, 72 hours afterwards?
Yeah, I don't honestly feel any different than I have. I've always have bared the responsibility of failure, losing, and no different. I'm responsible for, a part of the team, and but you take it personally, and there's emotions involved, and frustration, anger, all those things. But also trust in how you do what you do, and you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Sometimes you're on the right side of it, sometimes you're not, and it certainly doesn't take much to be on the wrong side of it. So you got to have, perspective and composure and your leadership skills, and no different for me whatsoever.
Eric Bailey. Brent, 3 or 4 games you guys have started from behind. You stopped the slow starts offensively, and Kent State was up 14-0 on last Saturday. Well, how do you fix that? How do you get guys to come out from the opening kick and kind of put pressure on the other team?
Yeah, I mean, again, as a team, you want to be able to start well together. This is the first game where we didn't start well on defense, and our first 2 drives on offense. That's been a point of emphasis of again doing the little things right, and easier said than done. But you don't have to change that philosophy or the way of thinking or the emphasis. You just have to go do it, and so we got to do a better job, obviously, and you got to be efficient. You got to be detailed and precise, and you have to be able to anticipate. Timing is precision, and the timing aspect of it on offense is a part of it as well, and getting everybody to work together. So you got to just continue to, the same things that you're doing later when you're doing well. You got to do it well early. So sometimes it's on your side of the ball. Sometimes it has to do with what they're doing on their side of the ball too. So. What to say other than that.
Besides Jesse Crittenden,
Brent, you guys have talked about stripping it down to the studs even after wins. With a loss like this, how do you handle that dynamic of not dwelling too much on that loss while also focusing and trying to fix those mistakes heading into TCU?
You handle it the same way. Every week you start completely over. You always, as coaches, whether you're successful or not, and I've said this plenty of times, the first 3 weeks is that sometimes you had a successful play, but you did a lot that was wrong. You just were the lesser of 2 evils. So, we're always looking at weaknesses or breakdowns or mental errors, even in victory, finding all the things that you didn't do well that you need to continue to improve upon. So, sometimes in a loss, things get exposed. And so that brings more awareness to those particular issues, scheme, fundamentals, personnel, all of those things. But no different. You start completely over every single week. I think that's the way that I know how to do it, and it has proven over time that that's the right way. And you learn from your past. That's how you grow and improve. This is the greatest opportunity to teach and lead is right now, through a loss. I know that, without question. And, as we've had success early in the season, you got to take the bad with the good too. It just goes with it. So, but you got to lean on the foundation of, again, accountability and discipline and being physical and playing with great fundamentals, all the same things, whether you win or you lose. That's what, has longevity.
Yeah, Brent, you mentioned before you're looking for more depth linebacker room. How tough is that to accomplish during the course of the season? And are guys like Kip or Kobe, are they anywhere near close to perhaps starting to...
Kobe's redshirting. Kip is redshirting as of right now too. And as I said earlier in fall camp, Kobe missed most of fall camp. And so there's a learning curve there. So unfortunately, it's just he's got a ways to go from a mental standpoint, like most freshmen. So and Kip, same thing. He's just got to functionally get stronger in the weight room. He needs a red shirt from that standpoint. Depth's not great there, guys going to earn their opportunities based on what they do on the field at practice. There's a lot of new things that they saw on the field last Saturday. No excuse, but those guys, it's one thing for a guy that's played a little bit to, make adjustments on the fly. It's another thing for young players to go in there and throw them in the lion's den. So couldn't have been much worse. It's easy to say that now, but, we got to continue to develop the depth there.
Eli?
We've got a couple guys talking about the rat poison last week, and other guys talking about what got exposed Saturday. What do you think were maybe the lessons that this group learned or had to learn?
I think what I saw was guys afraid to make mistakes. We played on our heels. We weren't physical at the point of attack. We haven't been that way. Well, that's what I saw. I saw guys pressing, trying to do a little bit too much. I didn't think we played very well from just having, situational awareness. Didn't think that we did a great job of that. Again, there's a level of anticipation when you know the situation, and I just didn't think we put it all together for whatever reason. We didn't do that. So I don't know about rat poison. Interesting, term, but handling success is a very difficult thing, for everybody. And I've always taken tremendous pride in being the anti success, patting everybody on the back. And so we worked hard at that last week. I'm not sure whether or not that had anything to do with it or not. I don't. That's not what I saw on the field. I just saw bad football at times. And I saw a good football team on the other side of the ball that played with good discipline, good precision, good physicality, all the basics. So, there's no magic formula for it. We did a poor job getting our guys ready to play, obviously. And again, I thought many times in the night offensively, I thought they did a really nice job. But again, we didn't have the discipline to play well at the right times, whether we're missing open receivers or, again, the procedural issues that has a cumulative effect in scoring and taking scoring opportunities off the table. And as bad as we played, it came down to one. It was a one-score game. So I don't look for the good in the bad, but there's some there. And again, I've seen enough good through the first quarter of the season to believe in these guys and the way these guys focused, and the hunger and the edge and the humility that they, showed through a loss is what you want to see.
James.
I didn't expect TCU to be this good offensively this year. They're one of the top 3 or 4 teams in the country. They're explosive. So talk about what you're dealing with and what you're running into, and what do you see when you watch them so far? Yeah,
they're really, really good at receiver. They're big, they're fast. They've got, I think, 5 different receivers with 7 or 8 catches. They can go up and get the deep ball, and they can run by you. They've got a receiver, number 11, that returns and jet sweep with him, and he might be the fastest guy we play all year. The quarterback, Max Duggan, is number 1 efficiency rating quarterback in the country, and that's after 4 games. So whatever that means, that's where he is. He's playing really well. He can run. They have designed quarterback run game and incredibly accurate, completing almost 80% of his passes. So systematically, they know what they're doing. Got them in a good system, and so we got a great challenge, for us.
Right side, Jenny Carlson.
Brent, after the game, you got asked a little bit about the time it might take to get your guys where you ultimately want them to be. You kind of shot that down a little bit, but I'm wondering how you balance sort of pushing but also having patience. I don't get the sense like patience is maybe your favorite thing. So how do you balance pushing and trying to really maximize, but also patience in what you're teaching?
Yeah, you be open and honest, transparent. They'll listen to you when you got connection and trust built, and credibility. And so, this isn't about, baptizing anyone. It's helping guys grow, acquire, the mindset and the skills, the fundamentals that it takes to be able to, knowledge is the wisdom is the application of knowledge, and we got to get our guys to be able to be, intelligent football players on both sides of the ball, And we've got plenty that are, and we're trying to help others grow up during the course of the season. And again, the more you play, the better you get, and that's even through failure along the way. So, continue to try to get our guys to buy in and run towards the hard, the difficult things like discipline is the charge for us, and get our guys to really know the value of that. And I believe that they do. And like I said, again, the success or the development can't happen fast enough, but you want to inspire and encourage and challenge at the same time. On the defensive side of the ball, we got a lot of guys that have been scarred up, and so our job is to create belief and to create a process in how I play at a high level, and then to get guys to play well together. And that's not an easy thing to do for anybody in any sport. And that's, felt good about the foundation that we have. And again, last week, not proud of that, obviously. But, our guys are hungry, they're eager, and they're willing to put the work in. So that's where it starts. And, I have not been disappointed in that. And so that gives you hope, and that's how you want them to have belief in themselves and the team, and again what we're asking them to do, which they do.
Barry?
Yeah, Brent, you're sort of wearing two hats. You're the head coach, but you're also heavily involved in the defense. How much of a challenge has that been for you, and what are the biggest challenges for you? Are they game day? Are they throughout the week? How do you see that?
Being a football coach, there's challenges nonstop. It's not, this new role with challenges. I've always looked at, everything I've done in this profession as a challenge. It's all challenging. None of it is easy. I love it because I'm passionate about it. I love it. So I like running towards it every day. But it's all hard. Being a coach is easy. Being a head coach is easy. Being a defensive coordinator is easy. None of it's easy. But I really haven't, I don't really look at it, oh man, this is so hard. I haven't looked at it like that. It's just what you do. You lead, you respond, you challenge, you work, you grind, you overcome, you go through it. You try to have a system on how you do things, but leading is, again, relationships. It's certainly applying knowledge to help guys, and but for me, I don't look at it as it's not just me. I got a team, I got coaches, I got a support staff, and I'm responsible for everyone, but I don't think it's any harder than anything I've ever done in this profession, to be honest with you. I don't see it as harder than any of it's ever been.
I haven't seen any game situations where there was a problem. Broncos hired a new coach. 2 games in, he seemed lost. He had to hire somebody to help him. Do you have people in place to help you with quick decisions or timing or any of that stuff?
Yeah, you as a staff, you really talk through all those things, both in the out of season and then during the course of the week. Situationally, you educate yourself year round. You try to learn from others. Every Sunday I get all kinds of stuff from around the country, both the NFL and collegiately. A lot of situational football. You're always trying to learn, to help you do a good job of managing. And again, a wise man learns from others. And so surround yourself with people that can help you, and I've intentionally tried to do that in every aspect. I don't go out there we got a plan, a very clear vision on how we practice and the timing of the periods and things of that nature. Certainly always open to for new, fresh ideas, but structurally, how we do things, I feel very strong about. But as far as making some decisions that don't have to do with that, or again, managing a football program, a team, whatever, you take, input from the people that you've hired to do so.
Okay, second row, Gary, anything?
Brent, it was about this time your first year at Clemson. You guys had a game where things didn't go according to plan at all. It was Florida State. And by the looks of how things turned out that season, you guys got right in general and put together a really good year defensively. Can you take me back to how you responded specifically to that, to being sidetracked like that? And
was it the first year, 12? Was that 13? 13, Florida State won it. We didn't play good against them there either. But 12, yeah, I mean, just continued to, I remember the season intimately well. And some things the same. There's a lot that that goes into that. It's a pretty broad question, but playing inconsistent, sticking to a plan. Believing in guys, encouraging, challenging, being honest. As opposed to negative and ostracizing and pointing a finger. When you are in this arena, it's all of you, and so just continue to be who you've been. And like I said, you learn and grow from your mistakes, and we certainly did. That was a team that was very committed to what we asked them to do. And so eventually we got by the where we started at the beginning of the year and where we finished, we were a little bit better. And then in 13, same thing, and then in 14, we led the country in 13, 14 categories. And but it's a process, and it takes a lot of work from a lot of people. And I was one of the many people that was responsible for that. But you have some tough moments. I mean, again, just like the little baby learning how to walk, right? Take a few head plants into the coffee table, right, along the way. But eventually they're running and doing their thing. But same thing, if you're going to grow a healthy culture and a healthy, defense, there's no easy way to do it, or a healthy team. Something that has a root system and has longevity. It has to go through that process. It doesn't, ever happen fast enough. But that there's, incremental improvement. Last week, again, like I said, I hate beating a dead horse, trying to move on to TCU, but, there wasn't a whole lot to be excited about. In the most critical times of the game, we did not, as a football team, we were not able to put our best foot forward, and that's a very discouraging place to be. On offense, we did, and on defense, we didn't. Our last two drives in the fourth quarter were, I think, a 70 and an 80-yard touchdown drive. So, but you flush it, and you make a cut up, you show them, hey, these are the things we did wrong. Now look, we've done this, we've done this a lot. And you have it intercutted with plays that actually are executed well. The same exact play. Like, here's not good, here it's excellent. Here it's not good, here it's excellent. And you gotta, what we're trying to, quit learning just what you do. And you try to memorize just what you do, then you don't know the why and the how and the when and the what. You're not really empowered. But when there's a real transformation is when guys really start understand how they fit next to the guys that are surrounding them. That's kind of, I don't know if that makes a lot of sense to people that haven't been in that minutia, but that's when you really start to come together. And so we've tried to teach football to these guys, for the last several months, and they'll get it, and again, Saturday wasn't indicative of the growth that we've seen, but it is a process, and that's a fairly good example of where that defense was, and in the slow improvement that you saw there. And next thing you know, and you recruit to that, players that They want to be coached in a system like that. And again, how you coach, how you develop, the accountability, the leadership, the toughness, you're able to develop that in-house, and then you recruit to it as well. And next thing you know, you build a culture that's very player-driven, and the players are literally defending the standard every day. So that's what we're doing right now.
Far right, Cliff Bruns.
Yeah, Coach, so I'm talking about defense here. You know, we're in this kind of a day and age of highlights and social media, and, you know, guys want to make those big plays, the big interceptions, the big strip, and this and that. But also something to be said for, I don't know, squaring your shoulders, moving your feet, you know, head up, driving through and bringing a guy to the ground. How hard is it to teach that basic stuff is important in this day and age? And do you feel like your guys got it?
I don't know day and age, but it's always, one, it's important. Two, it's hard. You know, if it was easy, then everybody would play discipline, you know. And to me, you got to have respect for, you know, how you play a certain way and how you prepare a certain way. You got to have like genuine, deep-seated respect. And, you know, there were times, again, last weekend where we didn't look like we did, you know, like it was the first time. But you have to have, you know, the respect for a certain way of doing things, what's acceptable, what's not. And you're trying to develop habits. You know, you want to, you know, make good, clean football, fundamentally sound, physical, disciplined, together, cohesive. You want to make that, you know, second nature, you know, to the guys. And right now it's not where you want it to be. And but you've seen signs where it has been, and you just got to do it more consistently. And so it's not an easy thing to do whatsoever. Maybe it's the receiver trying to jump up and, you know, one-hand the ball, or, you know, something. You see it a lot of times in pregame, you know, they're trying to make it look, you know, highlight reel like. And so you got to, you know, break guys of habits like that. And, you know, it's promoted in the outside, but certainly not on the practice field. So, you know, breaking, if you have bad habits, you know, you're trying to, you know, break those and improve those. That's not an easy thing to do, but you go at it every day anyway, you know, with how you do what you do.
Back left, or over here, John River.
I'm interested about a team's identity, what we call a college football team's identity. Is it important to establish something like that, what you would look at as what the team is about? And then can that kind of thing change and evolve basically over the course of the season, what you think your team is based on a win or a loss, because this is such a results-oriented business?
I mean, identity is, you know, yeah, absolutely, it's a thing, you know, and every year you develop that as a, you know, a team. Not every team's identity is the same. As a program, you want to have an identity, but every team, you know, will form their own, you know, what they're kind of known for, what they're going to be about. And it's one thing to have a thought process for it, and then it's another to go and you know, go do it. And so that's, to me, that's developed over, you know, a period of time. Sometimes, you know, by the end of the year, a body of work, this is who this team, this is what their identity was. And, you know, the course of a season will, you know, have a big part into that. So, to me, you don't want to lose your identity in a moment, you know, for whatever you think that it's becoming, and then you have a bad moment. You don't want to lose your identity, the things you've been hanging your hat on in a moment. And that's been a, you know, something that we've talked thoroughly through, you know, in the last, you know, several hours.
So the result of that game Saturday didn't change your opinion of what this team's identity is?
No, not whatsoever. And I don't know what that identity is yet, other than it's been a very committed team, a team that's bought in to everything that we've asked them to do. It's a very close team. It's a team that has taken accountability and responsibility. No, they haven't run away from that, you know, and, you know, and coach is right there with them. So, Again, I don't think you lose your identity in a moment. So.
Okay, second row, Joe Bettner.
Brent, just you talked about players trying maybe too hard to not make mistakes. Was there anything situationally or circumstances that you could sense that might be the case last Saturday, and how do you correct that moving forward?
You just, again, you put all the good that they've done in front of them to try to reinforce the things that you're talking about. That's the biggest thing, and then you go back out and you practice it and you coach it and you practice it and you coach, just a repetition, and you don't waver, in your belief system, and again, how you play well, the things that it takes to play well. That's really, just stick to the basics and the foundation, the fundamentals, eyes, hands, feet, effort, toughness, accountability, physicality, discipline. Just keep reinforcing those things that, that give you a chance to be successful over and over and over. Encourage your guys, again, to run right directly towards the hard things and not shy away from it. So that's what you do.
Far right, Justin Martinez.
Hey, Brent, we saw what happened the last time you guys went on the road against Nebraska. I know TCU is a different opponent, but is that a game you guys can point to in terms of this is what happens when you prepare mentally for a road environment?
Yeah, I mean, you use all your experiences, to, again, reinforce, to gain confidence. You gain confidence through your preparation, through your work, and through your experiences. And so, literally our schedule, almost to a minute, is the same. So the schedule and the structure gives you comfort and familiarity. And, again, DNA is different, a different venue, but none of that stuff has to matter. It's really about us. And, and how, again, how we approach it, how we practice this week, what our mindset is. And that's really what we're focused on, the things that we can control.
In the back, Lee Benson.
Coach, obviously I know you have a tremendous amount of influence on the defense, but I'm curious about the dynamic between you and Coach Roof in game through 4 games. How does that communication work throughout the game? I guess he's calling the defense, I suppose. So how is that going so far?
It's going good. I give suggestions when I can and help every once in a while, but they do a great job. And it's all of them collectively as a staff, but we work through, what game day is going to be like all throughout the course of the week, and so lend, what I can, at the right times.
But not calling plays though, like every single play for the first time. How are you adjusting to that?
I'm fine.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good.
That's all I had on my list. Did I miss anybody?
All right,
Last one there.
follow up to my earlier question. Do you have somebody telling you about the time and timeouts and those things? Do you have a guy particularly assigned to suggest?
We got all three areas. I'm talking to the different coordinators of the different kicking units about all of those things. When it's time for one of the special teams to be on alert, and then certainly offense and on defense. And we're talking, again, situational football. That's all part of it as well. And to try to, again, just stay, again, on top. And a lot of it, again, we talk about during the course of the week, and there's certain, there's a lot of scenarios that you talk through during the course of the week that you're trying to prepare for. Maybe it's certainly a 2-minute situation with X number of timeouts left, and there's so much time on the clock. Some of it's based on what they have from a timeout standpoint, things of that nature. So there's a lot that you go through before you get to the field, and then there's a lot of conversation with a lot of the coaches during the course of the game.
Sooner Scoop HD.